Welcome to another episode of Halftime Chat. Today we have got another special guest. I have with me from the R&B group Cut Close, a group that I remember buying their album back in I think '95, and it was such a really cool album. But I've got Tabitha Duncan um, from Atlanta, and Cut Close after all these years have come back with another single called Celebrate, and it'll be great to talk to her about the new single, but also talk about what they've been up to um, over the what they've been up to over the past couple of months, years, and just talk all things music. So look forward to her joining us soon. Yes. How you doing?
Man, do you see a big face on the screen? Off.
I see a giant face of you behind you. That's really good. I need to know how to do that.
I feels right now. I'm just messing. What's up?
I'm doing good. Now, is that Atlanta? I'm sure you're from Atlanta, but what team is that?
The Braves, man.
The Braves. Okay, okay.
Braves.
That is good. Well, I appreciate you joining in. It's one of the things that we've been doing over the past couple of months. Really, is celebrating our favorite groups from the '90s, especially those who are still making music now and still touring. I saw a video of you guys here in London last year, pre-COVID, and I saw how the fans were just going crazy with when they were joining you guys, singing along. You sang Weak, you sang I Like, you sang Surrender, you sang the songs, and the fans were really going wild. So it's really great. But a lot of our fans are wondering, we haven't seen Cut Close for a long time, so it'd be great, to go back a little bit about the beginning, but then also understand what's happening now. I know you've got a new single, celebrations. Sorry, congratulations. So
Congratulations. Yeah.
congratulations. But yeah, can we going back to the beginning because we've got an international audience. So I believe you're from Atlanta, but is that where the three of you are from?
Well, actually, nobody is from Atlanta.
Okay, nice
No
correction.
one is from Atlanta. The group basically got together in Atlanta, so
Okay.
that's where the group is from. But individually, we are from completely different states. I'm from Michigan. Athena's from Kentucky, and Levon is from Alabama.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, we're pretty widespread, right?
Yeah, I went to school in Selma, Alabama, so I lived in Alabama for a while.
Yeah,
Okay, and
boring
then
state, very boring state.
it,
You
it
know,
it has its moments, and then I went to university in Wisconsin. But okay, so but you, Tabitha, where did you get to music? Where did you start singing?
I guess when I felt like I could sound good to myself when I started singing. I mean, people think they can sing but really can't sing. But my family was pretty musically inclined, so I come from a family of a lot of musicians, a lot of singers, or whatever. Gospel wise, my dad's a bishop, so I'm a PK. I'm a preacher's kid.
Oh,
So
Bishop.
I grew up
Wow.
in church. Yeah, I grew up in church. I just happened to be the prodigal daughter instead of the son. I went away and ain't came back yet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So, I started in church, and my parents and my family is a pretty big family. It's 15 of us. So we
15,
had something. Yeah, it's 15 of us.
two parents and 13 kids.
There's 9 boys and 6 girls.
Oh, 15 children.
Yes,
Wow.
15 children. So we had a little Duncan's group or whatever. I thought that I was going to get up and start singing with my other brothers and sisters, but I was a little young, I guess. So
Okay.
they was like, "You too young, sit down." And I was like, oh, I was so upset. I sat down in the pew and I folded my arms. I was like, you just wait. I was crying. Can't believe it made me sit down. I was little. I mean, how do you make a little person sit down? And in church, they basically give you a shot to do anything.
Yeah.
If you want to get up and sing, okay, sing, baby. Going to sing, baby. Nah, they was like, sit down, you too young. So I sat down, on that fateful Sunday And I folded my arms when I sat down in a seat and I said, you just wait. I'll show you. Just wait. So I think it lit the fire. That's the first thing that I can remember when someone told me that I couldn't do something that I really wanted to do. And I wanted to really prove to them that I could.
Wow. And
So
so
it stayed dormant for a little while,
yeah, but then when did that rekindle?
Well, when I got a chance to do stuff on my own and no one had the right to say no. And so a lot of it started to come out in high school.
Okay.
When I was able to make decisions and, be in gospel choir and stuff like that, and get in the school choir, and people tell me, like, you can sing, what I'm saying? I needed some validation. Of course I was in the choir, but my sister was over the choir. So I was never really able to lead a song or anything like that to, see if I could, if I was different than other people.
Yeah.
And so she would be like, you sound like a little girl. And I'm like, I don't have titties yet. So I am a little girl. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So they never gave me the opportunity. So in high school, I was able to prove what I could do and then give me a fair assessment on who I was as a singer or whatever. So they gave me some shots. You know what I mean? I got a chance to sing No Bad News and gospel choir, from the Wiz. We had a little, musical and stuff. And, I got the whiff of, people appreciating my talent instead of my family kind of shooting me down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when I graduated high school at 18, I left home. Because I felt like our upbringing was very strict and I wasn't able to be myself.
Yeah.
And so I needed to create a life outside of my family because we were very structured into religion and very strict. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of helped me break away, to be honest. Your parents try to teach you the right way, but really if you put something too much on a child, it kind of pushes them a different way. You know what I mean? Okay. And I'm a living witness of that, so I left home, with a boyfriend at the time, forfeited a lot of, just things that I had for college. And you know what I mean? I had signed up to, go to Indiana State. I was going to run track there. Okay. You know what I mean? And so it just, it never transpired because I felt like I needed to find out who I was. And I wanted to be away from family because it was too much of a structured thing that, put me in a position that I didn't want to be in. I wanted to be myself.
Yeah.
And so I left and I moved to Atlanta. And wow. I came here and we worked with my boyfriend at the time, he was who helped me put Cut Close together. So he was very musically inclined. He was actually in a gospel group in Indianapolis. And he moved down here because he had a high school friend or a childhood friend, which was Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, So when we moved to Atlanta, we worked for him, as a personal assistant, for him. Okay. And so my boyfriend could write songs. He could sing. He was singing with Faith back in the day in high school and stuff like that. So they had a lot of, things that they had in common. And so he formed a production company that basically Faith wanted to sign to his production team, his publishing company. Okay. That they initially turned down because, once you find out, people try to, small game you, you know what I'm saying? You find somebody else who really something like that happened to me that, gave them more solidification as far as, their talent and gave them more money. So they took that instead of Face, you know what I mean? But still, it was a stepping stone for me to be in the business in the way where it showed me different things where it's like, my singing, I can do this. And, and then being from one jail when it came down to my parents to another jail, because with him, it was another jail. I just didn't know it yet. And I was like, oh man, I can't know, sir.
Okay. But
try to tie me down too. I was like, man, nah, bro.
Yeah, but if we go back, so I think because you said you left home when you were 18, and I think it's those of us who don't live in America probably see a lot of that on TV and people leaving home. But practically, what does that really mean? Did you just say to your parents, "That's it, guys, I love you, my family, brothers and sisters, but I'm going to move away," or did you just not show up one day and they went looking for you?
Well, my family was very strict. I mean, very, very strict. I couldn't listen to secular music, so there was no Michael Jackson or any kind of different music other than gospel in my house. It was banned. We would get our behind spanked for that. You get a spanking, you know what I'm saying? So we weren't able to really flourish in the way that we wanted to. We had to be our parents, Yeah. So that really pushed me to find myself. Yeah. Because, with so much restrictions, I couldn't even wear pants, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And so I was really good at track and field. And so, you know, you can't wear a skirt running, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, my parents just had so many, you know, children and so many other things. My dad had the church and everything. He wasn't really able to be, you know, one-on-one with us, you know, and different things, but he knew that I was good at track and field. Okay. And so when he'd go see me, I'd run in the skirt, but he ain't never know, you know, that was like in the elementary. I'm like, come on, Dad, it's not like that in high school. But when I got onto the team and I was on varsity, like all 4 years of my high school career, I was on varsity. And so when I would go to track meets, you know, I'd have to wear my skirt over my pants, you know, which is going to practice. But I'm like, you think I kept that on, dude? You know what I'm saying? But my parents never came. They never came to see me until my senior year in high school. And I was 18 already. So you couldn't tell me to get off the team because I was like, whatever. I don't have, you know, legally here in the United States, 18, you're an adult.
Okay.
You know, whether you have graduated high school or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you can't make me get off the team. You know, if you try to, you know, he's like, why are you doing that on? I was like, come on, Dad. You really thought that I, you know, wore a skirt out here, dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? But that was the first time he ever came to see me was when I was a senior. So it really wasn't much he could do about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, I graduated and you know, they were so rough and, you know, on a lot of things, you know, I got in trouble doing some things I shouldn't have done, you know, and, well, you know, according to parents, but, you know, it's just teenage years, you know, went to sleep and were on the phone. I shouldn't have been on the phone. You know what I mean? I got in trouble. And this is what really made me feel like I needed to leave the house, you know, when I got, you know, I woke up to a belt, you know what I'm saying? I was like, seriously, dude? I'm like 17 years old. I mean, nah, bro. No, sir. Because at this time, when you're 17, you're at the stage in your frame of mind where you don't do stuff like that. Because at this point in time, children are, you know, hit you back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because, I mean, it's not, at a certain age, people need to stop spanking children.
Yeah.
Because then you provoke them to wrath. And you don't want that. You don't want that because they're human. And there have been, you know what I'm saying, kids to do wrong to their parents. And I'm not saying that I ever was in that position, but you got to be careful when, you know, you kind of make those kinds of moves. But it did force me to leave the house very, very quickly. So when I graduated high school, I never went back. I stayed with my sisters. I never went back to my parents' house.
Oh, your sisters are married, so you could stay with them. It wasn't okay. So.
Right. But it didn't matter because when I graduated, it was like in 91. I graduated in June. By August, I was gone. I was living I came to Atlanta, Georgia. I moved here.
Wow.
And I've been gone ever since with my boyfriend, you know. But then I just didn't know I was dipping into another jail. But I broke from that too when I allowed him to understand that I needed my own life. And, you know, I formed Cut Close because I really love TLC. You know what I mean? Because TLC looked like they were sisters. It looked like they had fun. And I envied that. I wanted it in my life. I just had me and him. And I'm like, oh, I'm in another jail. And he was much older than me. So I didn't really get a chance to, you know, kind of like spread my wings because he was very possessive in that way, you know.
Yeah, you said he was older because I'm thinking about Face being quite older in the deal, so that could explain why he was his friend. I'm thinking, wow, that either you were that old or he was old, but you said he was much older. So you
almost 20 years older than me. Almost.
Okay, yeah, so that kind of makes sense. So you guys moved to Atlanta. He says, I'm going to, I know Babyface. Now, this was 91, so he would have come out with Boomerang. Did you know that, wow, we're going to meet up with Babyface and he could sign you, or what was the plan? Was it just
I mean, that wasn't really, it wasn't really my intention to be in the music industry like that. Although I had, you know, written some songs and sang some demos, it wasn't really nothing that I, you know, thought that I was going to do until I got to a crossroads of, you know, figuring out my life. And I couldn't just be there and be somebody's girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? I needed to find myself. And so that was just the way. And I did have that talent and I was interested in it, but I was always nonchalant because people kind of told me, you know, that I wasn't really, you know, good enough to be, you know, what I was, you know, so I kind of like shied away from it, the spotlight per se. And so I never really wanted to be a lead singer like that anyway, to some extent, or, you know, a solo person. And I say that because most people start out wanting to be solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was looking for more for the, you know, affection of sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that I did have a talent, but I wanted something that was mine. You know what I mean? And so I used all of the gifts that God gave me. And this is where I ended up. You know, I created Cut Close and, you know, knew some people in Indianapolis. I lived there before. I moved from Michigan to Indianapolis when I was 14. And so there's some people that I knew in Indianapolis that gave me Athena's demo. And I heard her demo and was like, do you want to come to Atlanta? Because I was, explaining to her what I was trying to do. And so she was like, sure. She was, trying to, get a deal herself. She was in college, And so she came down and, we met and we clicked immediately. Like on the phone, we clicked immediately. So when we actually met up in person, it was like a done deal. And her freaking doggone tone was so off the chain to me. I just fell in love with her voice immediately,
Yeah. No,
And we had another girl in the group.
no, yeah, but before you jump to that though, because this is quite interesting because most people form a band when they're in high school, especially the musicians. But you were saying that you thought about you said TLC were the ones that inspired you
Yes.
at the time?
Yes. TLC, they had that sisterhood that I wanted. I wanted to make that for me.
And at this time though, with the connection with your boyfriend making waves and stuff, did you then have the sort of the business acumen set up like, okay, we're gonna get a group, we're gonna be signed up, we know what we're doing, or what was it? What were you thinking at those very early stages?
Well, I was kind of behind the scenes in a lot of ways, you know what I'm saying? So I saw how things were formulated. I saw how things were being made and how it was done in order for, me to find my own formula and try it out. You know what I'm saying? Because I was around, obviously, LaFace and LaFace Records and all that stuff. I was around when Usher, he was like 12 then, you know what I'm saying? Very young, so I was around when all that was coming up, so I got a lot of information.
Okay, you're back.
Sorry, I got a lot of information, just, being around, you know what I'm saying? So when I put the group together, he was already dealing with a lot of people because he had gotten a publishing deal with his production team, HOP, that Babyface wanted to sign. And since he was my boyfriend, I had fair game and everything, you know what I'm saying? And so I just used him to my advantage, to make a life for myself instead of being underneath the roof or element of somebody else's, umbrella, you know what I mean? And so I had to branch out and, he helped me. And so he was working with Keith Sweat. He was working with Face and, a lot of different people in the business because they had a publishing deal. So they was getting their stuff played, to different people and was working on different people. And sent our, we got a package together, took pictures when LaVon first came into the picture because she came in after another girl was in there. But LaVon came through with someone that was looking to be in another group that Keith wanted to sign before. But they had already members already. So Keith was interested in a different girl group before I came along. And I knew who the girls were because of the production company that was, we were all friends. Okay. So when I got my group together, I told my boyfriend, I was like, you think you can take us to Keith? Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, come on, survival of the fittest.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So, he squeezes in there. He was like, all right, he's like, Darcy gonna be mad. I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, Pimpy. You know what I'm saying? Life is what it is. And we just figure out, throw it out there and see if people just pick the cards. And so Keith heard us and he was like, can they sing? I mean, they cute, baby. Because he's heard us sing, they cute. He said, can you bring them over to the studio? So, we came over to the studio the next day, auditioned, would get up on it. And that day, he told us he wanted to sign us.
Did you already have Get Up On It written?
He had Get Up On It written.
Okay, and he wanted you guys to sing it and then perform in front of him. Okay.
Right. So we basically, he gave us the backgrounds to sing. We got in the booth, and we were singing, to Get Up On It. And so it was his song.
Yeah.
And he just basically added us to it when we started, you know what I'm saying? That's how we auditioned for him, was singing Get Up On It.
Wow.
And that's how we started. And we was like, all right, that's going to be the song that's going to drop, that's going to introduce us.
So, okay. So now at this point now, did you then say, okay, you've got the three of you guys together. The name itself, who came up with the name? Because Keith...
No, the name was mine too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of built my own little, thing and just took it to him. He didn't really come up with much, when it comes down to Cut Close per se. But we did have to change our name because our name was not Cut Close at first. It was Nubian 3.
Okay.
Because we were an urban contemporary gospel group at first. We were not a secular group. And, because I still wanted to please my father. I still had those things in me that I wanted to, I didn't want my dad to be disappointed in me. I'm a daddy's girl. And so I tried to keep some of what was taught, you know, and make it like BB and CC Winans, because you know you could have songs that could be for God or for relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when we got with Keith, you know what I'm saying? You already know what that joke is. The bed dude about, you know what I'm saying? Talking about the bed sores, man. Can I get about this bed, dude? What you doing, man?
Yeah.
So when we got with Keith, we were saying, get up on it. And I was like, see, what had happened was.
Yeah. That's just the industry. Yeah, it takes you by surprise.
My dad wasn't happy. Let's just say that.
But then at that time, then when you guys were signing with Keith, did you, because you were working at LaFace, so you knew the background stuff, and your boyfriend at the time had the publishing stuff. Did you then know about the paperwork, you know, to make sure that, you know, you guys aren't just going to be singing and nothing comes back to you guys? Did you know?
Well, I did know about the paperwork.
Did or didn't?
But I did.
You did, okay.
But
here's a but.
You're not gonna get everything you want.
Okay.
I mean, come on. You think you're gonna come up in here green as a doggone green bean, that you gonna come and get everything you want? Nah, bro. It don't work like that.
Okay.
So everybody has to pay their dues in some kind of way. You know, it's going out there trying to be in a boxing fight and never get hit. You know, so you know, we thought that we could avoid certain things because we knew more. But nah, bro, one hook is gonna catch you sooner or later. You know what I'm saying? It's a straight doggone Tomb Raider. You know what I mean? You get caught in something. Something gonna cut your neck off, your leg, knee. Something is going. You gonna miss some kind of limb coming back limping. You know what I mean? So we tried to avoid as much as we could and get our own little, you know, lawyer and stuff. Was like, well, we got our own lawyer, so they ain't gonna be able to get over. Man, this, you know, this business. Everybody know everybody in here now.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man. You think people don't know who you know, dude? That these days you better watch your mouth anyway, because you just never know who know who.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we thought that we had the right lawyer, but nah, bro. We got into a hell of a situation because we signed a 7-album deal. So a 7-album deal, that's a lot. No one releases an album a year. So basically that's almost 14, 15 years. That's if you release one album every 2 years.
Yeah.
And most people sit on the shelf for a couple, you know what I'm saying, years before you even start working on the album. You know, when you're talking about being on the roster like Electra, I mean, you know what I mean? We had a lot of people out there, but still, everybody had to wait. And I'm like, to sign that many years of your life away to anybody, if it ain't gonna be your husband, is foolish.
But did you have a choice at that point? Of
course, we always have choices. But we just ate it because we thought we could do better the next time around. Well, you know, if we do better, you know, we can change the contract next time around.
So, I mean, if the album went like 10 million or so, you could then go back and negotiate. Is that what you were saying?
You probably could. But when you dog in this business, man, them jokers screw you so hard. I mean, come on, you didn't hear the story about TLC?
Yeah.
They're like one of the biggest selling groups of all time, female-wise, they are. And they got jacked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what makes you think that, what is this, Queen Victoria over here, or Elizabeth or somebody? No. Nah, bro. We like, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could say I was like that dude who won, you know what I'm saying, like this. But nah, bro, we was like this. We was on the lower registers, you know what I'm saying? So, no, we got juked bad in many ways, you know what I mean? But, you know, I really don't have no regrets, because you live and you learn.
Yeah. No, and the reason I asked this because pretty much most of the people I've interviewed have all said the same thing, especially the R&B. You know, whether it's In Vogue, whether it's the Rude Boys, Ready for the World. Everyone I've interviewed have said the same thing, and especially with Black artists, and which is very sad to hear. But I do wonder then, because you had the inside. Did you then think, okay, if we can't get the right points on the album, maybe with the writing and the publishing, because you already have that, did you have that set up at least to have some?
Yeah, I did. But you know, the crazy thing about that is that, okay, we wrote on the album. They were like, all right, go on to write. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to slip a publishing contract inside the recording contract that comes 2 in 1. You know what I'm saying? Which came with us. We had the publishing contract and recording together. And we gave up our publishing for $1. Like, who the hell gives an advance for $1? $1. It said it.
What do you mean you gave up? What does that mean?
You give up your rights, because when you sign a publishing deal with a publishing company, you have to give them 50%, whatever the deal is, of whatever you do, and they give you an advance. And usually you have to make enough money back to pay that advance back before you get back into, getting your, monthly dues or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But if they only give you $1 for an advance and they already immediately taking your publishing, they just getting money for free. Because how much money you got to pay back? What, a cent? So we didn't have any money that he gave us because you're like, the people who gave us, who helped us record the album, they got a publishing deal for $150,000. You understand?
Wow.
$150,000. We got a publishing deal for $1.
Wow.
That's how jacked up that contract was. And to even know that you're screwing somebody in that sense is just really just disheartening as people to me. Like, we only live one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We only live one time. Why do people make it so hard for someone just to enjoy life?
Yeah.
Or to just make it, come on, why do we even fight to stay in homes? Like, a home is a necessity. Food is a necessity. Cars really is a necessity. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's normal that you should have in order to make life go around, right? But for whatever reason, people try to just take everything away and see what can you make out of this dirt to get you down the street? Like, no one wants to extend a helping hand to even be fair, to be like, all right, everybody deserves a place to freaking live. Everybody deserves freaking water. Are you insane? Everybody deserves food. Like, what the actual freak, yo? It just makes me so angry when it comes down to just the selfishness of human beings.
Yeah. And no more so than the music industry, where they just take advantage of of talent, especially I don't know why black artists a lot more, because we hear more of the stories. But then the fun part is that you the things that you guys were good at, which was the singing. How was the recording, the process of recording the album, the Surrender?
Well, we recorded mostly at the house that I was living in, the house that me and my boyfriend had, because everybody came down here to record. We recorded, more than half of the album at the house that I was living at.
Wow.
Because, a studio is a studio if the engineer is great. Keith had like $1 million studio with the big ass SSL board that went from one side of the room to the next side of the room. And we did Get Up On It, but that Get Up On It the mix sounded worse than what we did in the freaking doggone bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Or a studio that was made into a bed. Bedroom was made into a studio. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, we got a better sound on like some ADATs or DA88s than your SSL board. So it's not really where you are, it's who can doggone tweak it. It's the person behind it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we recorded half of the album there, and then we recorded Get Up On It Get Up On It and Lay My Body Down. We recorded 2 songs at Keith Studio.
Okay.
And then the other songs was recorded at like Eric McCain, the guy who wrote Twisted with us, and Surrender and Lovely Thing and Keep On. We did at Eric Studio. So we was only at maybe 3 or 4 places. 3 places really. And the last place we were was at the Hit Factory in New York when we was mastering our album.
Okay.
And Michael Jackson was there at the same time when we were doing ours. And he got on the elevator with us, but he was dressed as an old man in a wheelchair. And we didn't even know it. I was like, son of
yeah, the guy. Yeah.
Man, it's crazy, yo.
Yeah. So by the time Get Up On It came out, had you finished recording your album, or was that still?
Yes. Get Up On It was done. I mean, the whole album was done. By the time Get Up On It came out and we basically started doing everything was recorded already. Okay. So we were finished in 94. And then Get Up On It came out later on in that year. Yeah. And then our album came out, after our first single dropped in the first quarter. Our album came out in March of 95. So
did you sign to Kia or did you sign to Elektra? What was that?
Well, Kia was through Elektra.
Okay.
So same difference, basically. Kia was basically Keith's record company through Elektra. They just basically gave him a deal to sign the artist through him.
Okay.
So everybody had subsidiaries back then. You know what I'm saying? They had Kadar, they had a whole bunch of different things, branches, depending on what name you had,
Yeah.
And Keith had a name, and that joker got, a lot of money, for our album. And we basically made it in a house,
Yeah.
And you get like a quarter of it, $250,000 for an album. And we recorded in, in other people's houses. Like, how can that equate to our budget. You know what I'm saying? Being ran through. But
Yeah. It was so. Did you have to sign with Sylvia Rowan? Was she around at that time?
What? She was the CEO.
Yeah,
What?
that's what I said. Yeah, of Elektra.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I got
Yeah.
in trouble because I used to always call Sylvia, to tell her about what Keith was doing that, wasn't really good for us. And I'm like, we signed to a record deal, but we can't work. Like, we're going to get kicked out of our house. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? That joker told us to get a job and take MARTA, which is the city bus to work.
Is this before the album came out?
Yes, this is when the album was out.
Oh. So you already had a hit single with Get Up On It out there.
Yes, we had a hit single, we Get Up On It. And then Keith wouldn't allow us to make money and tour us, or because he was our record company. So it's like, give us some artist development, get us on some shows, something, you know what I'm saying? To and he just didn't do any of that. And then they went on tour, Keith went on tour, and then he took Athena with him and didn't take me and Levon, And I'm like, excuse me? Like, how the freak do you take one person and not, I mean, what the fuck? It's stupid as hell. Like, it made no sense. And so you start division and dissension and animosity. You start all of that stuff when you do stuff like that. And you expect people to figure out how to pay their own bills. But then you got background singers singing our songs on the road. I mean, it was just dumb. It was dumb when it came down to the thought process of a business-minded person. It was more personal, stupid shit like that. That's how I feel. That's just basically what it was, because it made no business sense whatsoever.
Because if your album's already out, so I would have not naturally thought that you guys would then be introduced.
Yes,
so that
you do everything. And if we're your artist, then why the freak when you take us everywhere to promote us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what normally people do. Freak, you sign somebody if you're not going to take them and promote them. If you're not going to, you know what I'm saying, let the group tour. He was more dedicated to Silk than he was Cut Close, you know what I mean? So it was just whack. We didn't understand why. We were just like, what? Why did you even sign us if you basically don't want to help?
So what did
Sylvia? So I would get in trouble calling Sylvia Rowan all the time.
What would she say?
She was like, her hands are tied, and she understands. She's like, it's key. It's him, not doing certain things or, allowing, because, Sylvia was the parent company. She was the mother company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She couldn't really go over Keith's head, but, it was a little interesting working relationship with them too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff was just politically just jacked up.
Yeah. So then, when the first single that from your album, I Like, comes out, were things a little bit different?
No, things were not different. Things were the same with him. So we gotta, we had to get a manager to try and get us other things or whatever, but Keith didn't really work with the manager either. Like, it was like a sabotage monkey wrench in this shit, it was crazy. And then no one really, I still don't get it, because even now, as many shows as he has, he don't even have us on the shows that he do. How many times have we've been to London with Keith and he's without us? A lot. Obviously, you saying we haven't seen you guys for a long time. Keith go there all the time. Keith goes to London all the time, but we're barely ever with him, and I still don't get it.
Yeah.
He will say sometimes, you guys don't have a lot of songs or whatever. I'm like, are you kidding me? We got most of your songs.
Yeah. So,
but I'm like, if everybody, so what? If most of our songs are done with you, so what? You know what I mean? Yeah, I ain't got no song. I'm like, all the albums that you put out, how many songs do you really have that people remember?
So, I mean, I Like comes out. It's storming the charts. It's a massive hit. Did you start to see were doors starting to open up a little bit more then?
I mean, of course it was, and we were able to kind of branch off and still be relevant to this day.
Yeah,
this is 25 years later, mind you. We still do shows, especially in in the Americas. We do shows all the time. It's just that COVID got us jacked up when we were really starting to do some different things or whatever. So people want to see us. It's just giving them what they want. And, sometimes, when it comes down to this business, it's not as easy as people to be like, all right, let me do it again when they jack you up so hard the first time.
Yeah.
So mentally and spiritually, if it really messes up your spirit, you got to get it back. And it's hard to do it with something that's damaged you. You know what I mean? Everybody don't have that snapback. You know what I'm saying? So I just happen to be one of the ones that's pretty out there when it comes down to, not stopping, but everybody else kind of stopped a little bit when they went home, or when Cut Close basically just stopped working or whatever. Everybody else was just like, okay, well, okay, he was that.
Well, I think the big question we all have was because I bought the album. Loved the album, the vocals, the types of songs on them. As I said, it helps when you have, four big, even though you're featured with Keith on a number of tracks, it just was just really, and the 90s we had such a good mix of great groups and great songs and great music.
Yeah, it had some substance, right? It had
Yeah,
substance.
but my question then became: you had an album that went more than gold. What happened? I was expecting the next album because the
Well,
'90s
we
was.
were working on the next album, but then they tried to do some crazy stuff, and so they broke up the group. And then they tried to replace two of us.
What do you mean they tried? Who's
Well, obviously Keith.
here?
Obviously
Okay.
Keith, then, yeah. They tried to replace me and Levon because I was a troublemaker, because I wanted what was right for Cut Close, and they get rid of the people who's got the mouth. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. Those are my girls. You know what I mean? I brought everybody to the situation. I brought everybody to Keith. I got us the deal, and to try and dismantle it in the way that was very disrespectful, because people want to have their own voice, or to try and stop from being abused in a certain kind of way when it comes down to your career. You know what I mean? So it wasn't really nothing where it's like, oh, they're a problem. I was like, no, we just want what was for real. Like, yo, are you kidding? You signed us, but we can't even make a life. I mean, you can't complain about it. Otherwise, well, get rid of them. What? So one time I was on my way home, and then I heard that they were looking for new members of Cut Close on the radio.
What?
And I was like, what the heck? Yo, I was heated. So they tried to replace us, and Athena was in on it to some extent. She was there with the other girls. And I'm like, how the hell? Like, you supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? So, that was a dark moment. And it lasted for about 10 years, just disconnecting. You know what I mean? It never transpired. And then Athena went solo, and her album never came out,
On Kier.
No, she went solo on Priority, I think it was.
Okay.
Like a rap label. It was like a rap label or something like that.
Yeah,
she came out with one song.
Yeah.
And it was called Hey, Hey, Hey. And it never went anywhere. And so they dropped her.
So yes, I think and I think, because I've heard you on other interviews talk about why I think it was I can't remember who it was, but why Athena was the main lead singer, and you spoke about the fact that sort of Keith sort of warmed to her vocals and probably put her lead on most of things, but then as a group, it wasn't a big deal for you guys to some extent, but did it ever cause conflict? Because some of us look at, say, SWV and wonder, well, Coco's singing all the leads. It's that's in a way everyone goes in as a singer, but when you have one predominant singer, it then almost looks as
complicates things.
Yeah, well, yeah, because if the main singer
makes someone feel less than.
Yeah, well, I think it becomes one spotlight. Big Bob has said numerous numbers of times that he didn't like the fact that they dressed him differently than his best friends, and then they pushed him as the main guy, and the others were like the pips. But other people don't seem to mind when they are pushed to the forefront and given the spotlight. But then I wonder what it's like for yourself and Levon. How did you guys feel when Athena was singing everything and becoming, even on say Nobody and stuff, being the one featured, keeps featuring her? Does it then think, wow, goodness, that turn us away deliberately? Or
well, I mean, of course, when you are dealing with a group, they always have to find a lead singer. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to find the sound of the group. It's important to do so, because if you're all over the place, it kind of, it can sound a little jumbled or mumbled or whatever. You know what I mean? So they always pick out someone that is the preface of the sound of the group, even if there's some other people that sing more than the other people. You know what I mean? And so at that point in time, I was in the group because I wanted the sisterhood, the connection. I was not a lead singer,
okay,
per se, So I understood the gift that Athena had, because I became her number one fan when I heard her first. When I heard her first, and I said, I want her. Do you think for 1 minute that I would care if I was leading a song when I loved her voice better than mine? You know what I'm saying? So I knew that she had the talent. She had the experience. I was very young. I was very green when it came down to me even being in the business, singing wise, or even singing on tape, you know what I mean? And hear my voice back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was very new in it. So I didn't have the know-how, you know, I didn't have, you know, the chance to be like lead a song and me sound good. I was more like, I hear too much of me. Can you turn it down, please? You know?
Yeah.
And so that's how I was, you know what I'm saying? But people, when they do choose one person to be a lead singer, and the way that they make the situation, it kind of makes you feel like you're less than a little bit. It does do that too. I mean, everybody feels that way. If you were to put someone in a position where somebody did the same thing, but they picked this person more than you, at some point in time, you're gonna start feeling some type of way. You know what I mean? So it does create animosity and dissension amongst the members because people don't feel important enough. You know, people feel like they're not as important as the other person, and that makes nobody feel good. You know what I'm saying? Go try to have 3 wives and treat all of them, you know, one. Come on, man. That's not going to happen, pimp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you talk about, about to get the Battle of doggone Armageddon, bomb of Hiroshima. You about to get Phoenix, doggone, from the X-Men. So, I mean, and so LaVon, she came in because she was already a solo artist. So she felt a little bit more, you know, nerved by it. Like, man, come on now. I used to be the lead singer in my band. You know what I'm saying? How dare you not, you know, like my voice or allow me to be able to, you know, exercise my talent, because she can sing. You know, LaVon, you know, she's a beast too. And so, but Keith, you know, people do find that one person, and I understood that, you know. And so sometimes when you put a group together and you use one person, it'd be one thing if you let them lead or whatever, but it's another thing if you let them lead and try to do backgrounds. You know what I mean? And they tried to do that one time on the second album when Missy Elliott, we worked with Missy for the second album, because we did start the second album.
Okay.
And so we went to, you know, New York to record, you know, and we went to the studio, and then they just used Athena, period, and nobody else. And everybody else went up, you know, me and LaVon went upstairs to another room, and she did the backgrounds and the verses. And I'm like, what the hell are we here? What the hell? That was different.
Wow.
And it's like, what was the point in having one person do everything? But it never came out, you know, but still it was weird how they did that without allowing other people to partake in it. You know what I mean? Or even try to partake. So I think that sometimes the business is almost fashioned to test your nuts in all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you kind of like, you know, feel a little, and Athena, she felt weird too. She's like, man, you know, why my girls can't come and sing? You know what I'm saying? It puts her in an awkward position.
What excuse do they give? Because I spoke to Profile about that, and they did that to LJ. He was singing background and everything, and they were flying him.
Dumb.
Yeah,
that's
and he
stupid.
didn't like it, but that's what they were pushing. But what was the reasons for that?
I mean, we never understood the reason. They never told us or gave us a reason. I think it was just because they wanted to hurry up and do the song. You know what I'm saying? I think they wanted to hurry up and get the song finished. And we'll just use this person and put everyone. That's how they used to do a lot of stuff back in the day too. You know, sometimes when people teach you of how things go, when it's like, all right, it's the whole group, yeah, but this person, you know, so yeah, let's just use this person and we'll just put the whole name on it. You know what I'm saying? 5 heartbeats. You know, a lot of stuff started happening like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, you put a different cover on it, act like it's somebody that is not singing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of trickery ways that they did stuff just because they wanted to hurry up and do stuff, or they felt like, you know, to them something sounded better or whatever, you know.
But does that affect the money though? Does it affect how much you get paid or anything?
No.
So it doesn't make a difference. It just okay. So it's okay.
Someone did ask me that question the other day. They was like, you know, with SWV, Coco get paid more than
yeah.
I said, hell to the motherfucking no. Sorry about my language, but hell no, not over here, pimp. That's an absolute no, sir.
Okay.
You know, how could anybody not, bro? You really gonna have a doggone scene like the 5 heartbeats when that joker took a little sleep and ripped that joker down here and start fighting and stuff and tussling on stage, man. Man, that's not going. No, bro. So
then what happened with this? You did the track with Missy. Then what happened? I would have thought Electra would have.
We didn't do any other songs after that.
Did they not release it?
No, we never released the second album, so nothing came out.
What was the reason they told you, like, okay, you've just spent
I told
time
you they tried to replace us.
after the recording of that track?
Yes, that was obviously after the recording of the first track that we did for the second album. The second album never transpired. They tried to replace us, never worked. You know what I'm saying? And that was that. When it came down, it was the last time we recorded anything underneath Elektra, because we were supposed to work with Neptunes next. You know what I mean?
You're kidding
and
me.
we never worked with Pharrell them. And so it was just it really jacked up because they really wanted to make it some bullshit. Like they even suggested Athena Cage featuring Cut Close. I was like, man, y'all done lost y'all damn mind when that came down. Why would y'all even try to break up the situation with and make it stupid as hell like that?
Yeah, I mean, and that was, you guys had the,
it's like
the
intentional.
momentum.
It's like intentional, like, dude, try. You hit me, you ain't gonna hit me, or you ain't gonna hit me, you know what I'm saying? Get in my face close enough, I'm gonna hit you in your chin and make you go across the street down. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they touched your nuts.
Wait, so Elektra is part of Warner Brothers. I'm thinking SWV with Atlantic, were they part of the family?
Yes,
So they
I mean, it was
thought,
WEA. It was Warner, Electric, and Atlantic.
yeah. So they probably then started to think, okay, we've already got SWV.
No,
They didn't want to think about competition. Okay, it wasn't the case.
No, that wasn't the case because SWV was on RCA.
RCA, yeah, yes, you're right.
They was on RCA.
Okay.
But yeah, it did matter if you had too many girl groups on one, because then you had to come out separately. You couldn't come out all at one time. It was staggered, so you had to wait your turn to come out because there was a lot more people that they had to put money behind too. You know what I'm saying? So.
But who else was in Warner at the time then? Kind of apart from En Vogue, because they were their golden child. But who else did you?
But girl group wise, it wasn't really nobody that was there with us.
Okay.
Not everybody else is like, because SWV was RCA, TLC was obviously the face.
Yeah.
Records, and Jade was Giant. You know what I'm saying? And Janae was over there with Naughty by Nature, them over there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And 702 was, I think, with Kadar or something like that.
Yeah, Biv 10, yeah.
So they were like, everybody was with different people.
Okay.
It was just a lot of groups at that time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they wouldn't sign a whole bunch of groups and have everybody waiting for years to come out. Like, that's dumb too. There was a strategy to it as well.
Yeah.
But we were all in competition with each other, But what we didn't realize is that for us to be out like that, what we should have done was been on a tour with each other instead of being in competition with each other. It was dumb, stupid, I don't know what.
Oh, what do you mean? So the competition and tour?
Because right now, look what people are doing now. Aren't they doing the versus thing?
Yeah, they did the verses. They did the Pass the Mic, but then they're also doing like lots of 90s revival stuff. And so you've got all the groups together. But back in those days, are you saying that?
Still, it's always competition. Back in the day, it was always, who do you like better? Is this that person, that person? That's always the case. It's like, just like with freaking solo singers or solo, you know what I'm saying? Who is this person the best? No, this person ain't better. We always put each other up against each other. Yeah. There's no way around it.
But when
we do it when it comes down to look. We do it when it comes down to size. We do it when it comes down to color. We do it when it comes down to hair. I mean, there's no place that's not touched when it comes down to, the racist qualities that we have with each other.
Yeah. But when Cut Close was going on tour, who were you were you going on tour with Silk, or were you able to go on tour with?
We barely went on tour like that. I just told you, Keith didn't really, we were with Keith. Keith was our record company, so our tours, we went on promotional tours. We weren't able to go on a lot of tours, but we did go on some who was with everybody, like Biggie, Total, freaking doggone SWV, Escape. We were still with everybody, when we did the tours. And so, it was really a team thing, but everybody had their own teams. We had our own cliques. Everybody had cliques back then.
Mm. Wow.
It was just cliques, which it still is today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And back then it was like the, East Coast versus the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? The South, versus, there's always something crazy that we're in competition with. You know what I mean? Very creative. We are.
So so after the whole situation with Keith and you guys came out from that, did you and then Athena went and got a solo deal? What did you end up doing? How did you?
I mean, I had to figure out life, because this part was, we were still hemmed up in the contract. What could we do?
Oh, you're still tied up to another 6 albums.
we didn't get out of our contract until like 1999 or something like that. 2000.
So it means that you can't record or release anything. We can't do anything. Is that how? Is
No,
that,
you can't do nothing.
and you can't force yourself. You can't. How can they just? I don't
Because
understand what.
you put your name on the dotted line, and that was individually and collectively.
Wow.
So when they say individually and collectively, that means you without the group too.
Wow.
So we couldn't go get no solo deal. We had to wait until, actually it was around 2003. 2003 is when we got out of our deal. We couldn't go nowhere else and do anything else. Keith would get a part, or we'd have to get permission. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It was just crazy. And it just, and so we had to sit our behinds down until we was able to get out of the deal, period. And that held us up for a little while, and then while you were laying dormant, I mean, imagine what you do if you don't put no lotion on your skin. That joke is gonna be looking like tree bark. You know what I'm saying? So what you think happened to our careers?
So then what did you end up doing for those?
I mean, you live, you get a job. You freaking work. I mean, what you think I got gold chips on somebody's tree in the back growing or something? You know what I'm saying? And publishing wise, stuff was in court, so I had to figure it out. Wow. And so I had to get it in, which was very hard to do with people knowing who you are and looking at you like you're a failure. You know what I mean? That sucks. Mm-hmm. It does something to you mentally and spiritually to be out in society because they're not nice to you.
Yeah.
They don't make you feel good about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So people who are like me that have been in the limelight and you're supposed to be, on top of the world and you're not, you kind of like hide away.
Yeah.
And you try not to be seen anymore. You know what I mean? That's when you get those hats you wear all the way down there like this hat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And then being in Atlanta, because that was that you had a lot of big acts coming out through So So Def and LaFace and Def Jam South. There was a lot of concentration with music in Atlanta then, and you guys couldn't be a part of it for those years.
It sucked because Escape was coming out with more albums. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was coming out with more albums. I'm like, what the hell kind of curse is this, man? You know what I'm saying? And then I think it's still following us to some extent because even, it took a toll on, some of us to the point where, I think it's still taking something out of people to even be completely back into it. When you get older, you don't really have the drive or the motivation to still deal in bull crap when you see it. Yeah. But the unfortunate thing is that, as long as you're living, you're still going to go through bull crap.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go through bull crap, let it be your own bull crap and not somebody else's, you know what I'm saying? Not working for somebody else. And so I tried to teach that to my girls, and they were basically was like, you're right. But, we needed to, get to a point where we could, just gather our thoughts again, you know what I mean? And just, have respect for ourselves or feel like we're not failures. And it still comes and goes, you know what I mean? And then I had 2 children, you know what I'm saying? I have a daughter. I have 2 daughters that's 9 and 11. So, the past 11 years, I've been a mommy.
Okay.
And, I was a nanny, you know what I'm saying? For, a family of lawyers, you know what I mean? That's what I did as a job for 18 years.
Wow.
Because I needed something that consistently gave me money and the music industry wasn't doing it. They didn't allow us to be able to make it. And so you had to find, a career. I mean, what could you do? You know what I mean? And so with me working in society, it was not nice to me. So I felt better being in someone else's home, being a personal assistant to somebody else. You know what I mean? And that kind of gave me, some serious, insight on having some serious humbleness, to, be a celebrity in one side. And then another side of my life, I'm like, what else do you need me to do? Kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so for me to swallow that I still swallow it, but, I got a chance to know the family and love them. I've been with their daughters. I've raised them, so it allowed me to enjoy my life still without, feeling like I'm just a complete failure. And because there's nothing outside of, music and stuff that God has blessed me with that I want to, be indulgent. I don't want to be a doctor, that's not me. And I don't waste my life to be something that somebody else want me to be, or to do something just to be able to have money and have a place to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did when it came down to being a nanny. And, and even my family talked about me, talking, you really a slave. And I'm like, shut your ass up. Ain't Jemima, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it gave me a reason. They treated me like I was, normal. The little girls, they were innocent. And I could deal with children better than I can deal with human grown-ups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it allowed me to rebuild myself.
Yeah.
And through their eyes, and and they're white, and so culturally we all have challenges, but being in a racist world,
yeah,
it brought a lot of different variables that I felt like needed to happen for me, because when I was young, I was really susceptible to racial division and being called a nigger, you know what I mean? And that kind of made a huge mark in my life to be like, why do people not like people because of the color of their skin? It's dumb. And so when I saw black and white together and they actually loved each other, or I wanted to know if that was possible because of the backlash that I got and the flack that I got going through school and how people treated you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to know if it could happen. And for them to be white and for them to treat me in the way where they saw no color, you know what I mean? And I really adored those girls. They did a lot for me and healed. Even now, speaking about it, realizing even more how much they healed me or allowed me to heal myself, with them being what they were, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when we use words like black or whatever, they didn't understand those kinds of terms, or white, because I didn't teach them that, you know what I mean? And so I was really the mom, away from the mom that was at work all the time. So I became, the second mom, you know what I mean, to them. So I taught them a lot,
Wow.
And so when they learned certain slangs and stuff, they were like, what is that? Like, that's not, don't call them names. What do you mean? That's not black. She's brown. Or they'll say chocolate.
Yeah.
And they'll ask me, why am I chocolate? And I'm like, this is the way God made me. And then she's like, well, can you put some on me? And I'm like, that's not how it works, baby. And so that innocence allowed me to be there for 18 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
And this year during COVID is the first time that I've been away from this long since they've been alive.
Wow.
The first time I've been away from them so long. It's been since March, since they have been on this planet.
Wow.
So this COVID thing is giving me some, insight, and it's making me stronger, where I have weaknesses. It's building me again from the ground up. I welcome new situations. You know what I mean? I see things and I see color a different way than what I have before. And so I'm enjoying life in the way that it comes, in the way that it's coming. And I have no regrets whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because it all has lessons that it's taught me that are very, very valuable that money can't buy.
Yeah. Now, as a group, so because I know you've come up with a new single. Congratulations. How did you guys come back together to say, let us start to record? Because I would take it that you guys still all live in Atlanta?
No, I'm the only one that's still here. Everybody else moved back home after the group broke up and things didn't transpire. So they haven't lived here in a long time.
Yeah.
But we've always, like I said, once we got back together after we healed from the situation that happened, previously, we knew that we had a specialness, and it was just really about us getting that bond again before we could even talk about music. You know what I mean? And so we just had to just regroup as individuals, as sisters, as females, as, future endeavors, and understanding why we did things and, the intentions thereof. And you have to do that in order to start the ball rolling. So you can be like, all right, now I can move from where my foot is in now, and I can keep moving. You know what I'm saying? So it's still been I've had a lot of Dr. Ruth. I still got to do a lot of Dr. Ruth with them. You know what I mean? And it's fine because everybody has their strongs and strengths, and that just happens to be one of mine when it comes down to bringing the group together. I was always the one that was close with each of them, because of, who I was, everybody came to my part, my spot. I was found Athena and Levon came to, what I'm saying? So everybody has the connection with me. And so when it comes down to me just, putting some out there, everybody's, more inclined to listen to it because of where I basically have brought the situation,
Yeah.
So I just, we really want to do more. It's just that once you run into things that you ran into before, you kind of like are taken back again, like, man, it's still happening. You know what I mean? But then you have to realize that it's going to happen as long as people are alive. People are not going to change. You know what I'm saying? That's just not how it is. So we have to move a different way to know that, all right, you can't rock with me like this because I'm not no freaking doggone green-eared girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty seasoned. This is Sazon over here, seasoned salt. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no doggone Morton salt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you allow people to know where you come from, they don't try you as much. It's same thing with, just, being a nice looking person. You always got to dodge the people who want to stick you. You know what I'm saying? Stick their penis in you, dude. You know what I'm saying? So, you dodging stuff all the time, in different scenarios in the same way. It's a different circumstance, the same situations, basically. Or different situations, same circumstance.
Yeah. So, I mean, so you guys, you got back, sort of reconnected, did your healing, and then, just a week ago, you released the Congratulations. Now, what was the thinking behind the type of song you wanted to put out, the kind of the flavor of it, and especially this track?
Okay, I mean, I'll explain it to you this way, and people always be tripping on me because I'm very sexually, stimulated in the mindset and the thought process or whatever. But I feel like this: whenever you want to have relations with somebody, you got to have something that kind of gets you in the mood, right? No one wants to just jump in and go straight at it. Okay. You got to warm up the situation, correct?
Yeah.
So considering the energy of the world and the ambiance of what we are in, we need some healing. We need the energy to be a little different so we can come together as people, and the best way to do it is to let somebody know that you appreciate them. So you show people appreciation by either acknowledging them in everything that they do, whatever it is that they do, to give them the confidence and the wherewithal with the positivity to do something better. You know what I'm saying? Next. So when people say congratulations or, man, you look good today, or anything that makes you feel good, it basically lays out the positive platform for you to go and make whatever choice you got next in you in a better way. So it's almost like warming it up, like turning on the, the heat to the eye over there at the stove and just warming up the atmosphere and the energy to get everybody in tune to listen to, but we got to come together first. So we got to come together and appreciate one another and respect one another. And then you can get to the love making, because we need to be sat down for a second. Okay. And just show our congratulations or our respect of one another, of a person, respect a person, to let them know that they're special. Everybody is.
Yeah. But
tell your friends to stop calling, Zoe. I'm on a call.
That's now what I
man, you have children, them jokers call like 1,000 times in a row. You call one more, I'm gonna block you, dude.
In the video, you guys aren't featured in the video. Was there a reason behind that, or is it that you haven't been able to shoot one yet?
COVID. It's COVID for one, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to get people together to, and it's easier to do it in this sense, so we can hurry up and put things out. It's really about, the content, not really about people. We put our faces in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? It's not really about seeing us per se, because they know Cut Close. And if you want to go see us, just look us up and you'll see us in that sense. But right now, it's really about everybody else. It's not about us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we wanted to show all of the ways to make someone feel like they're appreciated and respected and acknowledged. You know what I mean? And so that's why we use a lot of public figures, a lot of public situations when everybody feels good, when everybody's respected, everybody's like, yes, everybody's like, oh my goodness. And everybody's like in awe of whatever the situation is at the moment. So if you look at it, it almost kind of brings tears to your eyes when you think about, if you put yourself in that moment, you know what I mean? And so I thought that it would be, easier, and it would probably be more powerful if we were able to do that, to get the same kind of feeling of what we were trying to give to everyone, So, maybe next time we'll do an action video with us doing different things, personally. But right now, with COVID and everything, I think this is a good way to catch people, So here's hoping that it still does well enough to gravitate towards people's positive thinking and be like, yo, I appreciate that. And so the next time we come back, we're going to, make everybody love again. You know what I'm saying?
I guess, generally because we hadn't seen you guys in such a long time, I think that's the visual part of videos is oh, there they are. Okay, I can still remember. And I think that's why some would say, oh, we haven't really seen you guys. But is there plans after, do you have plans for a full-on album, or you're just going to be releasing singles?
Well, I mean, I don't really think that it's smart to release albums. I say that because there's so many songs that get lost in albums. You have like 3 or 4 songs, and then the rest of them is like, okay, I don't remember that song because no one's listening to it. So in order for you to, make people pay more, you don't give them so much. It's too much. It's like, you got too much in your mouth, dude. Take some of that out so you can chew it right before you choke. So I think albums have the tendency to give you too much at one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And there were stages, because back in the 80s, you get maximum 8 songs on an album. Keith's Make It Last Forever had 8 songs. Guy had 8 songs. I think Thriller had 8 songs. So it was, and then you get to the mid 90s, and they were coming out with
15 songs,
16 songs. I can remember all the Black Sheep album.
Crazy in the mud, dude.
Yeah, they were just.
That's just. I mean, you know what it is. You know what it is. I think when people put more songs on it, people try to get and capitalize more off of it and get paid more off of it. Okay. And so when people started doing that, they stopped paying you after 11 songs. 11 songs is the most that a record company will pay you for. Unless you're trying to split more and more of the pie. Like, if you got about 20 songs and you got freaking doggone 50 writers, I mean, how much money you think you about to split up between everybody?
Okay.
So, I mean, it's dumb, really. It's just throwing away songs.
Okay.
There's no value in it to me. It just makes no sense. It's like, why would you do that? You don't think you dedicated enough more? You know what I'm saying? I dedicate them as much, power and might to every song. I don't want to just throw a song away. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's smart to just come out with songs or EPs that's like 3 songs, at the most 4. Like the rest of it just gets lost.
And I think that's going back to the 60s where they were releasing singles and EPs.
Maxi singles,
Yeah, and so that's what we should expect from you guys.
That's definitely gonna happen because it's dumb to do anything else. It take too long anyway, and everybody's life is so not together when it comes down to us being in one place. One person's like, well, I can't do it today, or that person, I can't do it today. That's one thing about a group, man. Everybody got to be on one accord, and that's just not always the case when we have different things going on in different states. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be smart. And that's another reason why I do a lot of solo stuff too, because I can't just sit here and wait for people. I'm just not that chick. My life is still going. You understand? Every day is beautiful in a growing process. And I'm not going to sit here and waste my time because somebody else don't have time today. And so I had to take, upon myself to just go out and reach out and do different things, and use myself more than just waiting for cut close. I'm never going to give nobody that much power ever again in my life. You understand? My life is too precious and too important for me to wait for anybody for anything anymore. You know what I mean? Like when it comes down to the group, I don't have no choice because it comes, I have 2 other people that's included with it. But if they don't, then I come out with my own singles. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to do that too. And it takes too long to wait for people to finish songs sometimes. And I'm like, man, nah, bro, I'm about to take the power back. And so there's a lot of things that you haven't heard from me, because I kind of keep to myself, but not anymore. I'm the one that really goes out and I do a lot of plays, you know what I mean? I'm in, little side movies, you know what I'm saying? And, just trying to get myself out there as an individual and, using Cut Close at the same time because it is, that's who I am.
It is a big brand. It is still the big brand, which members of say New Edition realize. They know that that's the brand, and they've been able to build from that.
Yes.
I think I had 2 final questions. I think one of them was, from the Cut Close, your first album, Surrender. Actually, from all the singles you've put out before, so in the 90s, which would you say was your personal favorite?
I would say I Like is my personal favorite of the singles that we put out. I Like and Surrender, only because it's a it's a submissive song, and it's a song that demands, authority.
Okay.
One is a submissive song, and the other one is an authoritative song. You know what I'm saying? Like Surrender is like, I'm gonna make you surrender. It's my turn again. And then on I Like it's like, ooh, baby, I like it. You know what I mean? So it just gives you different, implications of what it feels like to, be touched and loved. And everybody wants to be touched and loved. Nobody wants to be walking around here looking like a robot or feeling like a robot. And that's what's dangerous about COVID right now, because everybody emotions is all over the place. But we all need physical touch. You know what I mean? Physical touch is a need. It's not no longer, a want. It is a need. You know what I'm saying? It has a lot to do with your spiritual growth and your, healthiness. You know what I'm saying? So I like, the song that I felt like should have, another one that I feel like didn't give enough is Everything Else That Didn't Come Out. Like Don't Change was a great, song when it comes down to the content. Giving You My Love Again was great. It was an awesome song. It could have been a smash too. It could have been another classic if it came out. But it's slow, a lot of slow songs don't give it the opportunity to because people like, groove me, baby. They like the fast songs, you know what I'm saying? But I like
in the
slow
90s
songs stay
though.
around longer too.
Yeah, in the 90s though, you had the space, but I guess you've spoken about the label situation, which really made it creatively a challenge. I think the other question that I had then was, one of the things I noticed, you seem to be a lot into your fitness. Is that something that is that something you're doing as a passion, or what's that from?
Well, it's as a passion, and it's as for healthiness, and it's for motivation for people. Because in order for you to walk in tune with yourself completely, you got to be physically, emotionally, and spiritually sound.
Yeah.
You can't just have, your thought processing and your body is jacked up, because it has a lot to do with how you see yourself, how you view things in life. You know what I mean? So I would encourage everybody to figure out how to, get your physical body in shape, because it makes you feel so much better about yourself. And if you feel better about yourself, then everything else that you see it differently. You know what I mean? It's like, and I don't like the saying, because, everybody's hurt, but, hurt people look at things differently than healed people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when it comes down to working out, it has done a great service for me to physically, spiritually, and mentally get myself together and have them start working as three individuals together. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't realize how important it was to really be comfortable with the skin that you're in.
Yeah.
And so it does me a world of good in so many different ways that it would be stupid of me not to tell people or to show someone or give them some kind of, motivation, figure. If that's me working out and me posting it to show people what I do and the reason why I do it, then that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? It was just by chance, because after I had my children, I was like, oh my goodness, boy, I tell you, I got some titties now, got that ass and stuff. So I tried to go to the gym and, what I'm saying, firm it and, make it look like a video vixen. But that don't work like that. It don't work like that. Because I went and I lost everything. And I turned to the number 11. I was like, oh no, bro. Like, I look like Tammy Lee from Buns of Steel. Nah, but I need curves. I needed my curves back, so I had to stop doing so much aerobics and losing weight and really nurture my body and do everything in the right way, which is you have to build your muscle and you have to pay attention to every muscle, part that you have, like it's a baby, and once you do that, you start seeing results and you see it with your own, and you be like, man, I did that. I'm doing it. It's working. And when you see it and you implement the same formula to everything in your life, it works the exact same way.
Wow.
It does. It works the exact same way. So if you work yourself out, you start looking at your body changing and stuff, it does the same thing in everything that you do in your life. If you put the same doggone might to it, and I learned that as well. So now it will behoove me and others to do the same thing, because it will never fail you, So I have to keep that. That's going to be a forever thing. I'm never going to stop working out unless my body says, bitch, you ain't getting up to date, though.
That's good. I think one of the things I always ask all my guests is, if you were stuck on an elevator and you had a choice of a movie while they're getting you out, what would you pick to watch?
Stuck on a backdraft.
Okay, okay, that's Kurt Russell. No, yeah, is it Kurt Russell? I can't
Yes.
remember the
Mm-hmm.
firefighter. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Uh,
Yeah, back there. I go to the top. I'm like, we're getting up out of here, dog. I'm gonna figure out how to climb to the top or the next one, something. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
I ain't sitting there waiting for nobody, like, Return of the Living Dead, when people just stuck in that elevator and then you see all these zombies just scratching at the door.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I'm coming through the top now. You know what I'm saying? You ain't about to see me coming up through here.
Okay. Backdraft. And they're about to put the movie on, but they say, okay, we've got to. It'll take a few minutes just to get the movie on. What song would you? They said we can put a song for you. What song would you request to listen to?
From a movie?
No, just any song. So it's almost like what song is like your song that you like. No matter what's going on, I need to play it. Listen to this track.
I don't have those where I have to go to this one track to listen to. But if there is a song or if there's a movie that would get me to the point where I feel like singing, it might be Color Purple.
Oh, okay.
When she's singing, "Speak, Lord, speak to me. Oh, speak, Lord, speak to me." That one gets me, it gets me right. You know what I'm saying? But the song I guess I would listen to right now that I would make me happy no matter what is "You Make Me Happy."
Okay, Frank.
I love that song. Frankie Belly is made. I love
yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It's really been great. I mean, it's been. I mean, a lot of people would be saying, "Oh, wonder what's up with Cut Close. We haven't seen you guys in a while," and it's understandable with COVID. Everyone's just been grounded, but hopefully the fact that you guys were able to release something in the midst of this says that you guys are looking and working on stuff. I think we do miss the slow songs, the love songs, and hopefully we'll
I
get.
have a lot of new things that's going to be coming out. With Cut Close and with myself, but I wrote on Cut Close. I wrote on the half of the album Cut Close. So I mean, hopefully, I can give people some different things, but it's different though. So we do have a new song out, and we do have some shows that we have to make up, and we do have some shows coming up in London.
Okay.
It's just I guess they're trying to figure out a day, because now everybody wants the same day because everybody has to reschedule stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's really tough.
So here's hoping that the freaking COVID thing don't get to a point where it's like you can't fly unless you got the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be a problem, Dow. You're gonna be doing all kinds of doggone, what do you call it? Holograms. Holograms. Hey,
yeah, they're gonna vaccinate everyone in England by spring. They've got
so
enough.
Everybody has to get it.
I think you can't get
away. You
don't
have a choice.
Well, I don't think they can force you to take it, but I think you'd almost. I think it's going to be a case.
They're gonna make life hard for you when you don't.
Well, you may not be able to go into the office. You may not be able to walk around without a mask. If
I mean, how they gonna know that unless they know above? This person is not taking the vaccine. They probably gonna have that one day when they can see stuff over your head.
Yeah, if 90% of the people are vaccinated, it means that you get sick. You're the one that's going to get sick, and healthcare is free in the UK, unlike in the US. So
yeah, it's not here.
You can get a code and go to the hospital, and you don't pay for it. So I think they need everyone to be. They need everyone to be vaccinated so that it doesn't overwhelm our healthcare system and stuff.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, but I think people would probably won't forgive me if I don't ask this question. After all these years, and you guys are all in the same town, yourselves and Keith Sweat, have you guys sort of put things apart? Because I know you guys did the sweatshop back in 2007, but have you guys in a position where bygones are bygones? You can still say hi if you see on the street. And
let me tell you, I have no ill feelings whatsoever with Keith, none. He is our musical father. He allowed us to have a way in this business. You know what I'm saying? I understand why Keith is who he is. I understand why he made the moves business-wise. You know what I'm saying? For me to be pissed off and upset. I understand all of them. I can't say that I always agree, but I understand. And so with me coming to that understanding and conclusion, then I can't really hate him in any kind of way, because this business is cruel to everybody. It was cruel to him too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like someone who was molested when they're young. And I'm not saying this is Keith. And then they grow up, they do some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because of what they went through in life. You know what I mean? That we're all susceptible to that. Everybody is in that kind of position. None of us is immune of doing something. You know what I'm saying? So I love him for him giving us a shot. I love him for him making me rough and tough like I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I respect him as a man and as a fellow comrade when it comes down to singing and stuff like that. I don't have no ill feelings. I do feel some type of way when it comes down to things that are sustained, but then, you know, people just got to heal. And I can't really say how long it takes for some people to heal. That's not for me. You know what I'm saying? But if Keith were to call us and ask us to perform at a show, hell yeah, I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? If he was right here, I'd give him a big hug and a kiss. You know what I mean? He is our musical genius father. Like, you know what I mean? I tell the truth according to what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to carry the negativity with me.
Yes.
It does me no good whatsoever.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So bro. You know, I have no ill feelings for Keith. I just tell people of what happened to us back in the day. You know, I do feel like sometimes, you know, he may carry it still because he's not really asking us to perform on shows, but then I understand how he wants us to do more things or do more songs so we can perform more songs. You know what I mean? He does, you know, push us to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But that should never be something that should trump you from saying, okay, we got a show together or come do a show with me. You know what I mean? Because we are each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody, he can't be nobody by himself.
Yeah.
And get up on it. He can't get up on it by himself. Twisted, he can't be twisted by himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we have 3 of the biggest songs he's had in his career. If not the biggest songs that he's had in his career. Twisted and Nobody are the biggest songs besides Make It Last Forever. And I think Get Up On It may surpass that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else can you really remember that was bigger? I mean, you can't. I mean, Twisted, you know, just off that album and that one single alone, it sold 4 million copies. 4 million off of one single, dude. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's good. And it's good that you clarified, because I guess people might have just listened, you know, when they watch and they hear that part, they think, oh, there's a split and stuff. But I know.
Bro. I love Keith. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's my dude. That's our father. I'm not going to disrespect him in the sense of, you know, holding a grudge like that forever. But I'm going to tell the truth of what happened to us in the business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But as far as what, you know, I don't have no ill feelings about him in any way whatsoever, you know?
Yeah. And what is strange is that, you know, 20,000 people might watch this and not one person will be surprised by the experiences you guys had, because I've had 20 interviews and they've heard the same thing from every recording artist.
But when you think about that, you got to realize that it's like a systematic thing. Once it's happened to you, they do it to the next person.
Yeah.
Because even if I were to get someone to come under me, I'm going to remember everything that happened to me and be like, well, this is the reason why.
I need to get mine. Yeah.
I mean, yes. I mean, yeah, because if people can drive on your road and get notoriety, come on, you don't think that you should pay tax for being on my road?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we got to do it out here. You know what I'm saying? I got to pay taxes when I get out here and drive my car to this Japanese restaurant I'm about to go to.
Yeah. Yeah. But Tabitha, you know what? It's been a blast. It's been really fun. It's been really good, and I think, you know, a lot of the fans will be really excited to hear that you guys are back.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
We'll let them know about the single, but I guess they'll still want to be looking forward to what you guys are going to be putting out next. And I think after, you know, next week is 2021. There's a hope that things would be different, where we can get live music again. Yeah, and hopefully,
I mean, if Cut Close don't come out quick enough, I mean, I'm not stopping now. You know, I wrote a lot of songs on Cut Close, so a lot of, you know, feelings is still, you know, and that kind of sound is out there. So if Cut Close don't give it to you, I'm gonna give it to you. You know what I'm saying? One of the two.
Yeah, you know what would be great, because what DJ Cassidy did with Pass the Mic, most of them verses, was it really connected everybody. I mean, over 1.5 million
that was
people.
cool. That was cool. I was like, it would have been, he did Keith. And I was like, why didn't you want to ask us to do it? But
Yeah,
anyway.
I think there was just so many, but over
It is.
1.5 million people have watched Past the Mic. That's I think more than 10 million people have watched it. But what I was trying to get to, that it would be great if the three of you guys were to do, even on a Zoom stuff, just
I
singing your
passed
own,
the mic.
yeah, with your songs, because I
Yeah.
think people, it just reconnects. They see how you guys are singing your stuff, and it would go viral, and then it's like, oh, we can't wait for you guys to come out and stuff. So
Yeah. Some people asked us to do it, and I was like, yeah, we'll do it. And I got to get everybody together to do it. So don't worry,
yeah,
it's gonna come out
yeah,
before.
definitely. Well, I appreciate everything, and once this goes out, I'll let you know and stuff, and so you can check it out and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much, Tabitha. It's been really
Well, I thank
great.
you. I appreciate you. We finally got on. My apologies for, what I'm saying, I don't check, my stuff like I should. I need somebody to start checking my social media, but
Yeah, no, look, we've got you, and this will, this will go out to let people know about what's your backstory, your front story, and your upcoming stories with Cut Close and yourself. So
awesome.
definitely, yeah. Well, appreciate it.
And I'm gonna send you. So send me your email, and I'm gonna send you. I think I have it. I'm gonna send you some of some different stuff too. So you can listen to and give it to your listeners and see what's up.
Please do, yeah, please do, because we've got quite a lot of people who listen and watch and stuff. So they'll be
because I'm working with this manager guy. He has his own management company. He used to be CEO of Murder Inc. with Irv over there.
Okay.
With Ashanti, his name is Cal Dawson, and so he's really been putting me out there. So I appreciate his challenging efforts, because he don't know what he messed up, walked into when he started messing with me. But I'm about to show him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it's good. I think there's a cry out for
authenticity.
Yeah, there is. Yes. And so but as long as it's good, if it still has the essence of the 90s, people really warm to it and stuff. But anyway, yeah, please do send it. Give me my feedback. I know I'll play to the listeners and stuff like that. So anyway, I'll let you go. Enjoy your meal, and we'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.